Just picturing it scarred you for life. Yeah, you don't want that. Brimo wants to see me in a bikini? That's a little weird. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't want to see her in a bikini, you know, like... I mean, a yearly calendar? Let's not. Matching? No. If we're going to do that, Tech, I ain't going to match, that's for sure. I refuse to wear matching outfits with my significant other, with Remo. No way. Right, you're just being equitable. Oh, for Pete's sake. Hang on. That's... No, drummer, I like this topic. You can pose with your cars. Well, don't need to eat for a while now. See, Shinobi, I'm helping you. Hypothetically, Ford or NASA? No. No. We don't need to cross the stream memes that much. You know what I mean? You got your girlfriend to wear pink Crocs to match your blue one. She's still on the fence about it, though. Crocs? Crocs. Oh, boy. Thomas, what is that, though, dude? So, no, it wouldn't... It wouldn't be... No NASA stuff. Like, I would want the designer stuff, man. If we're gonna do that, SpaceX Pixar style, does it blow? It blows up at the end, doesn't it? Uggs? Dude, I'm not attractive enough to be a guy and rock Uggs. Only Tom Brady can do that. Alright. It does look like a docking port, doesn't it? It does look like a docking port, doesn't it? That's kind of funny. Hi, VOD viewers. The Hollow Point has become an AP round. Yep. Elon. Alright. I'm on a screen that says it isn't started yet. No music. Okay. Here, we'll play some music for Airborne. I'm not trying.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I don't want to spray WD-40 in there. It's terrible. Nearly. Not bad. Not bad. Let's see. NASA certifies new launch control system for Artemis. Artemis 1. Very nice. All right, I'll put that in. Still not star-spangled, man. All right. Space news time. You dare disrespect that song on stream. If everything gets equal disrespect, everything gets equal respect. Airborne. Duh. What do we got? OneWeb Sats? Fork off. Ignoring my requests. Hates me. Yep. You've seen this plane. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, goalie. I guess you have. Nice. So... Yep, these are OneWeb satellites. The OneWeb Sats are... the OneWeb Sats are going to be launched in Vostochny. The funny thing is that these things are made at Kennedy Space Center. They're made at Kennedy Space Center and then shipped around the world to be launched in Vostochny. I'm dead serious. Nice, Thomas.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
You want metal? All right. There's a nasty delay. Ah, is that better? Is that good? Is that what you wanted for space news? Did you see last? Hang on. Hang on a minute, Chief. Why? Yeah, that's good. It's just falling apart. You know, just fall apart. That's fine. There we go. All right, so one more OneWeb satellites were delivered to Vostochny, out in the Russian Far East, long way out there. SN-15 is in the air. All right. Oh no, not the fog.
I tried to mute myself. Sneezed.
Not the fog.
Yeah, so I'm thinking no leg test. I'm thinking they just lifted right up onto the pad. Look at that. Thanks, Mary. You can even see someone standing there on the pad itself. That's why it really gives you a sense.
Treyarch is in Boca. Underrated comment.
O'Donnell, do you think they would test this super heavy without a Starship on top first? What do you think?
The Barracuda?
I really hope so. I really truly hope so. This is going to be hard to see. I absolutely love SM5 and SM6. I mean, I like the weirder looking test vehicles. I think everybody knows that Starhopper is to this point my favorite of anything that they have launched in the South Texas. So hopefully we get a BN2 or BN3 like 150-meter hop. That would just be so nuts to see. But even if not, hey.
All right, so we're just taking a quick break from like regular syndicated space news to watch them put SN15 out on the pad here. What are the biggest changes to SN15 to the previous Starships? The plumbing is redesigned, Chaos. It has more tiles on it, and it's designed for basically a Block 2 version of Raptor from what I've seen. It's a new version, so they're probably not going to call it a Block 2 Raptor, but... Okay. Dude, why is that guy standing under it? No, it's got to be just an illusion. So what are we watching? We're watching them put SN15 on the pad here. So this is what they were testing on the ground with that nose cone. Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like that nose cone is. I don't know, man. I want to say Lunar Starship Prototype, but I don't know. Did you get this thread? It should be in there. Yeah. Katya translated it. I have the article up, Thomas, but I'd have to translate it. But yeah, SPAC. Okay. Oh, ha! Oh my goodness, old school. Yeah, freaking old school, dude. How do I send a pic to you? This crane looked really different and more effective. Just get perms from Drummer here. Article is better than what Katya did. No disrespect. Got it. All right, so they're almost ready to put that thing on there.
I always love that we have such an international audience. Super cool. Wow, look at that. It is almost on the map completely now.
launch.
Good, Biden. How are you?
There's going to be a crane much taller than Kingzilla in Boca Chica. I think it's actually starting to arrive right now.
Alright.
Very exciting to see that be built.
Okay, put that down there like that. For now. We'll just put that over there.
1600 1600/2. So, you know, I'm not quite sure what the scale of their numbering is, but 13,500 is certainly way more than 1600. So, that's a small little data point you can use to sort of extrapolate in your head how much bigger this new crane will be.
Hey, Higgs. What's up, man?
The launch tower is going to be 469 feet tall, according to that FAA document, plus the 10-foot lightning mast. So the crane is going to have to be tall enough to lift that into place, which means probably like 500-foot crane at least, probably more. Austin says, do they need a road closure to do the ramp test?
Is there any commuter tools?
Will be pressurized
Check
during
the,
They will have to close the area. Alex,
check the sorter in there, public.
S-15 will launch, and when is the orbital launch mount going to be built? Well, Elon said they were ambitiously targeting.
Alright, cool. It looks like they got the thing on there. So I'm going to go back to the regular news, guys. Let's go over here. That's just the feed. Okay. Let's go over here like this. Alright, what's this article about? So, Igor Arbazov, we're doing our best to make our products competitive. Alright, what is this? Come on, dark mode. In February, it was announced that the formation of a rocket engine building. In February, it was announced that the formation of a rocket engine building holding headed by NPO Energomash was completed. The process had been going on since 2015. Now, in one holding, almost all domestic competencies in the field of rocket propulsion and engines for spacecraft are collected. The general director of NPO Energomash told RA Novosti correspondents Dmitry Strugovets and Andrei Krasilnikov, about the new structure, the development of rocket engines running on methane and hydrogen, and the cost of engines for the Angara rocket, the supply of products to the United States, and the attitude toward Elon Musk. Okay. So this is an interview with Igor Arbazov. Let's see what we got. One of the works that you must complete in the near future is the creation of the RD-171MV engine for the Soyuz 5 rocket. How's the work on that engine going? When is the first production sample planned to be produced? At the end of last year, we started testing the first engine. And before that, we sent a model of another RD-171 to Samara for fitting tests. Further, the engine will be assembled for attachment to the rocket. Okay, to the rocket. Okay. In total, by the end of the year, our task is to assemble 4 engines for various tests, including firing ones as part of the first stage. In 2022, we will begin delivery of RD-171MV engines for flight test. There's no doubt that we will fulfill our obligations. How many engines are expected to be produced per year? According to today's estimates, 3 to 4 production engines per year after 2023. Everything will depend on how the demand in the market for launch services for the Soyuz 5 will be, formed. Okay. What distinguishes the RD-171MV for Soyuz 5 from the RD-171M for Zenit? That's a good question, actually. In the new version of the engine, we completely changed the entire control system to a Russian one. In addition, with a few exceptions, almost all components and assemblies have been changed, taking into account the experience we gained when creating the RD-180 engines for the Atlas V and RD-191s for Angara, primarily in terms of strength characteristics, reliability, and quality of products. A crane. That's a lattice crane. It's a lattice crane with a jib extension. It's got a jib extension on it, I watch. That's what those two, like, rabbit ears off the back are. Those are called a jib and a jib extension. Yeah, it's if the crane needs to like reach up and over something. Keep in mind when you're reaching up and over something like that with a crane, the further you are away from the base plate of the crane, the lighter and lighter the payload has to be because of leverage. Sorry, I'm going like because of freaking McDonald's. Yeah, it's called a jib. Crane rigging actually borrows a lot of terms from sailing, which is, I mean, I guess that makes sense. In a newer version of the engine, we completely changed the entire controls. Okay, all right. Is it possible to upgrade the Zenit rocket engines remaining in stock for Soyuz 5s? Taking into account the requirements of the Soyuz 5 rocket, the existing engines cannot be upgraded. Oh. Yeah, RD-171Ms use Ukrainian parts. And now the MVs need to use Russian parts. We'll leave that at that. Kind of, iWatch. I kind of got the crane to work. Earlier, there was the idea of developing a more powerful RD-175 engine based off the 171M. What condition is that in? We periodically return to this idea. At one time, work is carried out on the RD-175. A preliminary design was made, but so far they've stopped this. Last year, the production of the RD-276 engines for the Proton rocket was completed. How many engine kits are left to use before the program ends? Are there any plans to resume their production? At the beginning of 2020, we shipped the last 2 sets of engines to the Khrushchev Center. This completes their production. Today, all the equipment is mothballed. The equipment is in a state of mobilization readiness, but no decisions have been made. Man, that food. On the resumption of engine production. So yeah, they're holding that assembly line for Proton, and they're holding it to basically the production line is stalled, and they're stalling it because they're waiting for Angara. Once Angara proves itself as a reliable vehicle to replace Proton, they'll probably shut it down. Okay. Your company manufactures engines for the Angara rocket, which will replace the Proton. See. What is it planned for the first RD-191M engine for modernizing Angara A5? A real ad for Mickey D's. Yeah, I know. I ate too much. Now the developmental design documentation for this engine is almost completely completed. So a modernized RD-191. Cooperation has been completely changed. Almost everything was previously purchased outside of the integrated structure of rocket engine building. It's all manufactured in-house. Okay, always has been. Okay. In Perm, the construction of a new modern plant for the production of this engine is nearing completion, and the procurement of materials for the manufacture of the first 2 RD-191s is underway. The first copy is planned to be manufactured in the middle of 2022, and in the same year to start testing at the site in Kimki. In 2023, we must deliver production engines for flight tests. Okay. Man, how long is this interview? Oh, man. Okay, no, it's... Okay, it's not bad. There should be about 5 to 6 Protons left. I'm just going to move around a little bit here. Okay. It's mainly about engines and rockets. Yeah, no, it's good. What are the prospects for methane fuel? What advantages and disadvantages can you name? Today, the methane theme has taken over the whole world and has become a fashionable trend. Everyone started working on methane. The closest implementation is the Americans with the Vulcan rocket and the BE-4 engine. The closest to the engines that they're working on. They're doing an oxygen rich. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's okay. In that regard, yeah, obviously he's right. See, the closest to our implementation is the Americans with the Vulcan rocket and the BE-4 engines. They promise that they will fly in 2022. China and Japan are involved in methane, too. If we talk about the benefits of methane, then first of all, it's beneficial in reusable systems. First, methane is cheaper than kerosene. Secondly, it practically does not form any soot, which is the main obstacle to reducing the time and cost of preparing the engine for reuse. There are also disadvantages. Due to the low density compared to kerosene, larger tanks are required. At one time, the founder of NPO Energomash, Valentin Petrovich Glushko, heading the Council on Rocket Fuels at the Academy of Sciences, investigated combinations of substances as an oxidizer and fuel in relation to rocket fuels. I got a burp and it's going to be loud. Ugh. Almost the entire periodic table was examined, including methane. As a result, it was shown that with a higher specific impulse by about 10 to 15% than that of oxygen kerosene liquid engines, the tanks of a rocket with methane of the same mass as kerosene will be heavier. Therefore, the idea of creating a methane engine was postponed, and the task of working on this topic was not set for a long time. Basically because they're building expendable... If you're building an expendable rocket, methane makes no sense. Sounds right to me. Can you compare the RD-0169, nice, being developed in Russia with the American Raptor and BE-4 engines? Is ours better? You see, you should always compare what is comparable. The BE-4 with a thrust of 250 tons and our RD-0169 is created with a thrust of about 100 to 200 tons. How do you compare them? As for the Raptor, it's also in a different weight category. Time will tell who can create the better design. Yeah, the 6RD1. Hey, look, that's the same picture, Phil. Nice. Article says 116 engines have already been delivered and 92 of them have been used. I mean... I guess by that metric that makes sense. In your opinion, will the Americans have the BE-4 engine ready by 2022, a replacement for the RD-180? All right, what's Igor saying? It's hard for me to judge. The last of the first Vulcan rocket has been the launch of the first Vulcan rocket has been delayed since 2017. It is clear that the creation of the engine there is not going without difficulties, but they have already entered the bench tests. Private investor Blue Origin is very interested in success because significant funds have already been invested in the creation of the engine. Oh, Kem, these guys are putting Igor on the spot, dude. They're putting him right on the spot. What a dick question to ask. All right. Okay, if you started talking about the Americans, how do you feel about the head of SpaceX? As a competitor, sincerely, in fact, he's a good irritant, not only for us but also for the American market. Under him, a new round of commercial use of reusability began, and the result of a major breakthrough is obvious. But we all understand that there are no special super innovative solutions in its engines. Atlas 6, Ian. I'll die on that hill. It's an Atlas 6. We got to keep the Atlas name going. We have to. Even though it ain't an Atlas in any way, shape, or form. It's not even close to the original design. There's the only thing that can trace its roots back to Atlas is the RL-10s. Any rocket with the Centaur upper stage is an Atlas. Laughs in Titan Centaur. Ares 5 was Delta 5. It really was. It really was. Yeah. Hey, Ismik, what's going on? Let's get back to the methane fuel. It was reported that if the Russian Super Heavy rocket for a flight to the moon is fueled with methane, then a more powerful RD-182 engine may be installed on the lower stages than the originally intended 0169. Tell us more about this. We've had and still have the idea of creating a more powerful methane engine for the lower stages of our Super Heavy rocket. Indeed, with an RD-0169 thrust of about 100 tons, 3 dozen such engines will have to be put on the rocket. The specialists of RCC Progress agree with us that it is unreasonable to install a bunch of small engines. Therefore, an engine with a thrust of 250 or even 600 tons has been proposed. Okay. There's an understanding of how to do it, and at one time such work was carried out at Energomash. Wowzers. SLS Block 1 is Delta 5. Petition to rename SLS to Delta 5. Yeah, I was going to say, Kem, still afraid of clustering engines, huh? I don't blame you. It's not easy to do. 600-ton engines. Yikes. Tell us about the work of the creation of the RD-0146 and the RD-0150 hydrogen engines. The design and creation of a prototype 146 designed for the KBTK upper stage, which is Angara's Hydrolox upper stage, was completed in 2014 to 2017. Then there was a pause, but now all the decisions to build the engine have been made. All works on preliminary design have been carried out. Oh gosh. Have been carried out for the RD-0150, intended for the third stage of the Angara rocket. Now it's necessary to obtain a decision on it and further financing of this project. It's not there yet. No, Delta 5 and Delta V would be a nightmare to distinguish between. Yep, still a painful flashback. Yeah, well. Yeah, it's a great... Yeah, could you... A lot of good information here. That is, the long-term delay in the creation of the KBTK was not related to the engine. It was associated with the lack of tasks for this upper stage. The paradox is that we were at the origins of the creation of hydrogen engines, but we're the only country among the space powers that don't use them. At the same time, the highly efficient and most energetic fuel pair, oxygen and hydrogen, is especially important given our geographic location. I hope that in the near future we will make the decision on the use of hydrogen technologies. Why didn't it work out with hydrogen? Because it entails the creation of additional ground infrastructure. And the combination of different fuel components at one start is a limiting factor. That's right. In addition, we have lived for many years with a traditional fleet of reliable rockets and ground infrastructure. Hydrogen requires very serious engineering solutions, accordingly high costs for creating, first of all, a filling infrastructure. Hydrogen's a pain in the butt. It's a real big pain in the butt. Really hard problem to solve. Nevertheless, I believe that the effect of it will be much higher than our traditional solutions. It's a promising path. He's right. In the 1990s, Russia helped India build a hydrogen rocket engine. Which of your engines are the most interesting for foreign partners now? The whole range of engines depending on the level of technology development in a particular country. I'm not sure I understand that one. Earlier, China was interested in Russian developments of the... Oh boy. China was interested in Russian developments of the field of engine building for the needs of creating its own super heavy rocket. As a result, China will do super heavy on its engines. China's going to build a super heavy launch vehicle. Yes. Can you say something about the cooperation with India? Negotiations are underway, and this partner's interest in the development of cooperation is quite high. Oh. Nice dodge. This year it is planned to supply 6 RD-180 engines to the USA. Are these the latest engines ordered, or are they still planned? These engines are ready, but the pandemic does not give us the opportunity to take them to the United States. Let's put them on this year. They are the last under the current contract. Ooh. Dem gimbals, though. Man, that engine is big. Wow, you should watch this. The lost city of Luxor was found in Egypt. I don't know what that has to do with space, but yeah. I'll definitely check it out. Oh, okay. This is different than that. Got it, Airborne. Speaking of the RD-180, this should give you a rough estimate of how many Atlas 5s are left. Yep. Yep. That's a big motor, man. How tangible will the completion of contracts for the supply of engines to the USA be for Energomash? To say this will pass without a trace for us would be biased, since this is a very serious amount of work. In addition to economic benefits, this is a constant exchange of specialists in the introduction of modern technologies. But speaking of volumes, there are quite a few Russian orders, and let's say we got away from the dependence only on foreign contracts. Diversity allows you to diversify your portfolio and not experience serious risks. But once a foreign order saved the enterprise. Naturally saved. Here, you can feel free to talk about it. This has significantly improved the capabilities and potential of our enterprise. During that period, due to foreign contracts, the quality of engine manufacturing was significantly improved, and the quality management system that has been implemented is seriously helping us now in the manufacture of engines for the domestic market. Okay, what's the context of this? So, he's talking about the U.S. buying RD-180s for the Atlas V. And RD-191s. 181s for Antares. Antares, actually, I'm pretty sure is free to just keep using them because it's not on defense missions. But in 2014, Congress said that they didn't want to use Russian engines on rockets anymore.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
So what they're talking about is how it's going to screw with their business a little bit, not being able to sell all these RD-180s. I think this is why they built Soyuz 5, to load the factories with RD-171MV instead of Atlas RD-180. Possible? Chaos, 37-month resub. And it's interesting that these interviewers know what they're talking about, because he says, but once a foreign order saved the enterprise, which is absolutely true. After the Soviet Union collapsed, the U.S. didn't want Russian rocket engineers going and basically freelancing their knowledge of the technology out to people because of ITAR and stuff. So what the U.S. decided to do was buy Russian rocket engines. They're good engines, and you can help control the spread of weapons of mass destruction. There's that, but then there's rocket engines. Rocket engines is a tech that you don't want falling into the wrong hands. I think we can all agree on that one. They still sold a lot of tech to the U.S. for cheap. Would you rather be out of business? I mean, Kem, you can say whatever you want. You could say why, but we saved your engine production program, man. That stuff was gonna collapse. But once again, we didn't do it out of the goodness of our freaking heart, that's for sure. We just didn't want people buying rocket engines. So we'll buy the rocket engines. It's actually not a bad idea. And the bonus part of that is that, well, you make good first stage engines, so yeah. That's the bonus part of that. I recently learned the U.S. has an unmanned orbital space plane called the X-37. Not even just good. They're really good engines. They're really good engines. I like the Russian engines, and Ergomash makes a good motor. I'm not talking about that, but the other technology that was stolen and sold for pennies. Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. It's not okay. It's not okay, dude. Like, it ain't okay. What happened is that's not acceptable. I don't think that was a predicted outcome, to be honest with you. But hey, at least they're making progress, man. I mean, somebody over there pawned off all of China's spacecraft technology to China. They did that in like 94, 95. Oh, that absolutely was the predicted outcome. One village, and it brought stability to the region. They like us down there, boy. I'm sorry, I'm quoting Shooter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of Russian spaceflight technology found its way into peculiar places in the 90s. Actually, a lot of submarine technology found its way to peculiar places too. There were Russian submarine engineers that we'll say business entrepreneurs in South America hired as a logistic service to move stuff around, to move their product around. Laser. King business entrepreneurs, all right? No, seriously, they were using they went and would raid people selling narcotics or people moving narcotics out of South America, and they found submarines, homemade submarines, and Russians were building submarines, dude. A lot of their tech got pawned off for nothing, which really sucks. Like, that's not okay. Methane engines, prototypes, nuclear prototypes, all, yeah, no, Kim, it sucks, dude. It sucks, man. And that's coming from me. That might sound weird coming from me. That sucks. That's not okay. Like, I'll freaking credit, I'll call it like it is. It's not okay. That sucks that all that knowledge, all those good engine builders, where did all that go? Nice, Spartan. Yeah, Sideways, that's right. Yeah, the businessmen are using modified forms of water logistical transport down there. Yeah, I mean, Kem, it's good that, see, like, the whole decision to nationalize Roscosmos and consolidate, and Igor talked about that at the beginning of the interview. So basically, when they nationalized Roscosmos in 2018, they bought all these companies that had private. They bought all these companies that had all these different techs that were privately owned. They bought all of them. Well, bought. I don't know how that works over there. But they unlocked a new ballast material. Yeah, you picking up what I'm laying down. So, and like I said, Igor talked about this at the beginning of that interview, and I keep pointing here like I'm on this screen pointing at the interview, right? Yeah, no, guys, their tech went all over the place, dude. It kind of sucks. Like, it went everywhere. It went, like, I'm just gonna call it like it is. Some of that tech found its way to Iran. Some of it found in North Korea. A lot of it found its way to China. A lot of it was just abandoned, like Bahrain, for instance. A lot of it was just abandoned. A lot of it, private companies, privatized state secrets and stuff, and then started selling them, like, we're talking about in the context of rocket technology. Yeah, when they nationalized Roscosmos in 2018, they got most of it back. Yeah, acquired, right? Yeah, stuff went everywhere, dude. And that kind of sucks, man, because they make good motors, man. Really do. Like, just saying. But yeah, interesting interview. Didn't the U.S. sweep in and gather up a ton of nuclear material that was kind of abandoned in place? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, Patoxin. And the rocket engines too. We bought as many rocket engines as we could from the Russians in the 90s. Oh yeah. Yeah, we did that on purpose. Yeah, see, Dimitri ain't wrong. He's not wrong in that tweet, Kim. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much sideways. Yeah, I mean, if anybody's watched Lord of War, that's kind of... I mean, a lot of it went to China, came here. China bought Soyuz. China bought the tech for Soyuz. Soyuz, Progress, and functional cargo blocks. And the Salyut program. Whoever worked with making Russian spacecraft at the end of the Cold War, sold all of that, all the IP. They sold all the IP to China. Yeah, for like nothing. Yeah. It was in 95. I'd have to go looking for a source in that regard. But I mean, once again, I read about this all the time. I read about this kind of stuff all the time. You know, you watch from the engines that came from the cold if you want to watch that. I mean, that won't give you all the answers, but yeah, it's pretty clear that the vast majority of like Russian intellectual property, anything that could, you know, come unbolted that was worth a damn, found its way somewhere. Because right now he's suggesting that the U.S. methane rocket engines are sourced with Russian tech. I don't know about the validity of that one. Kem, what do you think? I mean... Like, Kamir, here's the thing, all right? I have to be careful because, like, all right, look. You see the space shuttle and you see Buran, right? Which one of those came first? The shuttle came first, right? So it's very easy to call Buran, it's just a copy of the space shuttle. It's not. It's a strategic response. That's how I would put that. Like, oh, that guy has that, so I need it too, right? But Buran, everybody here that knows a little bit about spacecraft knows that Buran was designed for a completely different mission. The only thing it had in common with the shuttle was basically the payload bay. Like, the payload bay was the same size because the Russians didn't know what the heck the Americans were going to do with a payload bay that big on a reusable space plane. So they built it. We'll build it and we'll figure out what the heck it does later, right? The point is that everybody copies everybody else in some way, shape, or form when it comes to this type of thing. I mean, you need to look no further than why everybody's trying to build a methane rocket now, because it's like rocketry has a meta. You know what I mean? Like, there's a meta. And everybody follows that stupid meta. You know what I mean? I don't think that the B-4 or the Raptor are necessarily derived from any Russian tech, unless the methane engine that Glishko was working on in the 80s has an integrated hydrostatic power head, then I highly doubt it. Hydrolock sustainer with solids. Exactly, Kamir. What's that derived from? That's derived from an Atlas missile. Atlas was made by Convair. And where is that derived from? That's derived from the aggregate missile. And that's a German thing. And the aggregate missile is based off of the liquid fuel engine that Robert Goddard made. It's like this meta stuff happens. It does happen. What does that mean? Powerhead. Builder, the powerhead is basically the turbo pumps. B4 and SpaceX's Raptor, Blue Origin's B4 and SpaceX's Raptor engine both use a hydrostatic bearing integrated powerhead. It stemmed from an Air Force and NASA joint project in the 90s and the 2000s about basically making a hydrostatic bearing for your turbine, for your turbo shaft. All right, okay. English, EJ, please. They run the propellants through the bearings. And it lubricates the bearings, and the bearings can spin faster. If you can spin faster, you can sustain a full flow stage combustion, which is why Raptor works the way that it does, because those turbines can spin insanely fast without heating up too much. Yeah, it's a hydrostatic bearing. They flow the propellant. The liquid fuel in the oxidizer is flowing through the bearings on the power head, and then they go in wherever they need to do. It's crazy stuff. It's cutting edge stuff. And they, ironically, the BE4 and Raptor can trace their roots back to the integrated powerhead demo. Yeah. So once again, if Glushko's... If the tech that their Russians are talking about, that, you know, if the tech that Dimitri's talking about, like, oh, they stole our tech, their methane engines are based off of our method. If the integrated powerhead demo is based off of some document that we got from Valentin Glushko, then it's very, yeah, he might be right, he might be wrong. I don't know. There's really no way to prove that. I didn't know methane and oxygen was a lubricant. You could use it that way, Sawyer, if you want. It's cold. It'll keep the bearing going. You just gotta be careful, especially with oxidizer, because it's corrosive. So you got to be careful with this stuff. Like, it is some next level stuff, Sawyer. Like, it's just like, I mean, what if I told you that the gimbals on like a Merlin engine or the gimbals on an RD-180, you know what the hydraulic fluid is for the gimbals? Rocket fuel. Yeah, Sparrow, that was kind of a bluff, but it worked. Fuel hydraulics, yep. SpaceX at one point had the hydraulic fluid for the grid fins being an open cycle and dumping into the tank. Yeah, and then they switched it to closed loop after one of the grid fins stopped working during landing. Yeah, the tech does get passed around in some way, shape, or form, guys. And here's the thing: the engineers that work for Energomash, the engineers that work for Aerojet Rocketdyne, the engineers that work for the CNSA, propulsion, whatever they call it, they're not stupid. Like, yeah, you don't want people seeing the designs, but we'd be foolish to think that anybody that knows that's worth their weight, you know, talking about engineering, especially when it comes to propulsion, would know. You know, like, oh, they're making a Hydrolox engine. Okay, how would they make that? Okay, I think they would do this, 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 and this. It's the same thing that we do with Kerbal, like looking at a crane. We could figure it out. We're smart enough to figure it the hell out. You know? That's why it's called proliferation and not like you don't get it. It's designed to curb it, not get rid of it. You know what I mean? They're all rocket engineers. They're definitely smart. I mean, you'd be stupid to think that the Russian rocket engineers are idiots, or even the Chinese ones are. They're not stupid. Launching something into space it's really, really hard. You know? So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. But, I mean, the guy... Igor isn't wrong about supply. I mean, it's cool that he acknowledged that, you know, we bailed him out. And, you know, that's cool. Like... That came back to help us with 20 years of international cooperation on the ISS. We, you know, kept their program going. They kept doing science and stuff, and you know, and now they're getting back on their feet, which is cool. I mean, I'll be honest, it kind of bums me out, like that. You know, they want to go with China to the moon. It'd be kind of cool if you know they came with us, but it's all right. Hey, it's just business. It's not personal. Bringing it back down is even harder. Cooperation's always good. Cam, I've said it once, I'll say it again. If we're going to work with any other country, and I'm talking about other countries that actually have launch infrastructure. Europeans, don't take that the wrong way. You know what I mean. Where's your manned rocket? Please make one. Please make one. You guys get it. Just make a manned rocket, please, for the love of God. You know, the Russians get it, dude. They cut their teeth launching stuff into space, just like we did during the Cold War. They did it. They've been there, done that, and they know the dangers of it, and they've paid for it in blood, just like we have. So, like I said, there's no other country I would rather go to space with. Honestly, we don't care. It's hard to get offended. Josh, just make a freaking space capsule, for the love of God. You have a man-rated rocket. It's freaking aggravating as hell. You got all that knowledge over there? All those freaking smart people in Europe? Come on. You guys aren't stupid. I know you're not stupid. That's some of the smartest minds. They're the best and brightest in the freaking world. And you can't build a freaking man-rated... Can't build a damn spacecraft? What is that? What? What is... No excuses, man. No excuses. What the hell? What the hell's going on over there? Stop that. Stop it. Stop doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Go to space. We don't want to. Oh my god. Stop it. Stop doing that. Europeans are lazy. I don't think that that's what's going on, but we don't agree with each other. Well, whatever. Nobody knows why we should do that. We don't care that much, unfortunately. But Father, I don't want any of that. Yeah, Copenhagen will do it. It's fine. Yeah, they'll do it, man. They're gonna get it, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really funny, actually, when they do it. Oh, man. Okay, so, good article there. Let's go to the next thing. The next thing's coming from Dimitri. I'd much rather sing. Oh, no, you're not bringing it in a song up in here. Okay, we'll give up F1 for a year and go to space instead. Well, at least I wouldn't have to suffer through Ferrari's performances. I mean... Alright, so the science and power module for the ISS, which is being created by RC Energia, its energy and intelligent stuffing, yes, will allow it to become, that's a weird translation, will allow it to become both a part of a next generation orbital station and a free-flying service orbital module. So, another ISS module from Roscosmos here. This is the power module. It's basically a big solar panel array attached to a pressure vessel. There's the pressure vessel. And on the end of the pressure vessel, out here, there will be a gigantic solar array. Okay. Why don't Japan have a man-rated rocket? Don't know. Margaretti. Camelot. It's only a model. Shh, shh, shh. Yeah, nice. Nice, very good. NEM1 is essentially a 21st century functional cargo block design, completely clean sheet. Cool. It's a space station module builder. Yep, another module. It could float by itself if it needs to, or it can, I think the plans were to attach it to the ISS, but I could be wrong. Nice. Nice. That milled aluminum, though. Going on Prichal in 2023. Nice. 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 Yeah, it should be attached to Nauka. Cool. Nice. Nice milling here. Very good. Very good. Dat cable management, though. I wrote 2 articles on it if you want to know more. Yeah, no. That's cool. I mean, we were just talking about this yesterday, Ian. It may have been because of your article. I forget. Like, we were just talking about, you know, different types of module designs, and Cam asked Dimitri to post an update on it, and he freaking did. No joke. So, a future Russian space station is planned? Don't know. Supercraft? Don't know. One day, son, all of this will be yours. Well, with the curtains. No, not the curtains. Alright, next bit of news here. RC Energia, Korolev, Moscow region, is completing the manufacture of the elements of several mock-ups of the transport lunar reusable Oryol spacecraft for static and dynamic tests. Hello, Eagle. I just want everybody to understand here that that is one piece of aluminum. One piece milled aluminum. I don't see any weld marks, do you guys? Well, maybe right there. But it is on a huge 5-axis mill. So, about that. Welding aluminum. No. Yeah, you've never heard of TIG welding. That's fine. Aluminum gets welded all the time. But I'm not 100% sure that that's what's going on here. This looks billet to me. That's billet. Holy crap, dude. That is it, dude. That's expensive to make. This is a part of the Artemis program. No, it's Russian. Russia's lunar capsule that they're working on going up. That's a lot of discarded material. Well, Villainy, the thing about aluminum is that it's super recyclable. So anything that you mill off, it goes into a drainage duct down here somewhere. I'm not sure if the Russians do it the same way as we do. But basically, they take the shavings and they melt them back down into an aluminum block. That's why subtractive manufacturing like this is... that's why additive really hasn't taken off, because... You could take all these aluminum shavings, just sweep them up and melt them down right back into a chunk of aluminum, and then you could use that to make whatever you want. Aluminum's pretty damn recyclable. No, not really a space race, but who knows. They could have cast that and then milled it. That's true. I mean, even a casting that big, Matt, is pretty insane, dude. That's no joke, dude. And that's a big freaking mill. Matt, tell him how much a 5-axis mill like that costs. Yowza. Yeah, Builder. I usually finish with Starship news. It's pretty intense, man. How much does a 5-axis mill cost? This thing? If you have to ask, you can't afford it, man. I mean... That's right, Dead Crew. Yeah, aluminum is super recyclable. Yeah, you can pretty much use 100%. I mean, so same with steel, to be honest with you. Steel is super sustainable. You could just keep recycling it. I mean, I'll be honest, they've been doing that for years. You know, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to keep producing steel when you could just, you know, like say a car, for instance, right? Car crashes, it's no good anymore. Take all the steel, melt it down, send it back to the steel mill. We've been doing that for half century, you know? Matt, you say 1 to 3 mil? I'd believe that. That's a big 5-axis mill, dude. It's huge. Count the axis. 1. So you have turning. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like it's a fixed mill there. So it's a 4-axis mill, not a 5-axis mill. Let me see the... Oh, no. That thing can move. It's possible, Lando. Yeah, it could be a 5-axis. I'd have to see the cutting... Not the cutting head. The cutting head's right there, but I'd have to see all this. Yeah, let's see. So 1, 2, up and down, forward and back, left, right, and then spin. So it's 4-axis. If this plate could move left to right, forward and back, it could be a 6-axis mill. How long does finishing the milling take? Felony, something like this. Oh, take a couple weeks. See, the thing about aluminum is that you can't go at high. You can't go high depth of cut. So what does that mean? Can't cut it fast. You can't mill this stuff fast. It'll melt. You have to be very careful about heating it. Aluminum is super conductive of heat, and it'll melt. It will melt. You have to be very, very slow with this stuff. Angling the cutting head could be a 5th axis. That's correct. Yep. Yeah, so it's either a 5 or a 6 axis. Either way, a mill that freaking big and a podium this big for a mill is, yeah, it is a couple mil. It's expensive. It's so cool. You can go as deep as the diameter of the cutter. Yeah, So, why do they use aluminum for the capsule? The heat shield, it's light. It's light and it's strong. But it's only light and strong if you don't freeze it or heat it. Aluminum is very strong for what it is. It's just not very good with heat. So, like with a capsule, you have your ablator heat shield. Your ablator heat shield pushes all the warm air out of the way. Keeps the capsule nice and cool. Aluminum is super conductive of heat, but it also spreads heat out very well, if I'm remembering right. Doesn't get cold in space? No. It heats up in space, believe it or not, Game Coder. Just has to stay under 1200. It melts at 1200. Was Boeing working on a single-piece metallic heat shield at some time? Yeah, a little while ago. Who knows what happened. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got. Soyuz 21A rocket with the Soyuz MS-18 ship that will fly in the ISS tomorrow morning was blessed in Baikonur by Father Sergei. The Orthodox priest, the resident Orthodox priest. Nice. He's blessed the rockets at Baikonur since 1998 and has become a title of honored test pilot for the Cosmodrome. Dude. Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. Oh. Please do not quote stupid news. A priest of an Orthodox parish cannot hold any positions of a member of a state commission. This is someone's stupid joke. I've already told the press service to draw the attention of this agency to the inadmissibility of such publications. I'm sorry, Dad! Dad, don't... I'm sorry, Dad! Dad, oh, jeez. Oh! To which he's like, oh, hell no! What did Katya say? Thank you. It is sad that such a major provides fake information. But as you probably noticed, I didn't quote this part of the article because I doubted it's true. Hopefully the news agency will correct this post. After all, today is not April 1st, when everyone loves to joke. Ooh. Ooh. Now a lot of work is underway to prepare for the launch, and such publications annoy specialists. Oh, man. Oh. Wow. All right. that article. Oh, this gets even better. Oh my goodness. No way. No way. What just happened? What just happened? What? I don't understand. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't understand what's going on here. So is Russia planning a crewed lunar landing? They're gonna try, Ryan. Yeah, it's gonna take some time. They're a little bit behind. They've been having to play catch up over the last 20 years. But yeah, they're planning on doing it sometime in the next decade. Kem, what does that mean? I know it's a savage comment. I can tell it's a savage comment. There's always a Russian proverb that doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal. It's like, huh, you like stepping on fences, do you? And it's like, what? And then you go and look up like what it would directly translate to, and you go, oh. Oh. Eric, not a hooligan or something. Ooh. I have no idea. I don't really get it, but what's going on here? What's going on here? Not like this, George. Not like this. What's happening here? I don't understand. I don't get it. Oh my god. What's going on here? I don't understand. What are the odds that Dmitry Rogozin understands what dunking on priests mean? What are the odds that he understands what that means? Russian viewers, do you know what that means? I'm just gonna ask. Just out of sheer curiosity. Not a bully of the air, dunking on priests. It's obviously an Air Bud reference. I don't know what that means, non-native speaker. It means like being a jerk. He basically said he's a media bully. Yeah, Roger, right? Yeah. So, like, Velo, you could say he's being a jerk to priests. Like, slam dunking comes from basketball. In basketball, when you run and you jump and you just dunk the ball right into the hoop, it's disrespect. You know what I mean? I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm sorry. It's funny. It's funny news to me. Oh my goodness. It's the disrespect, man. The chaos dunk. Be prepared for more of this. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for more of that. We'll have the recovery camera aboard the next flight. Keep posted for some more cool footage of Electron coming home. Ah, Peter, give me the footage, mate. Give me that footage. I need it. Peter hates the plasma knife. Yep. In fact, he's just not happy to hear about some priest at Baikonur that, according to media, is part of the Roscosmos team. I mean, I understand where Dimitri's coming from, wanting to keep the church separate from a government entity. And you know what? Good for you. That's right. That's correct. We do that over here too. You know, that's a good idea. But it's just a guy. I mean, no matter how you look at it, if you're Orthodox, you're into that stuff, you're practiced. You know, hey, there's nothing wrong with putting some water on a damn rocket. It's gonna have water on it anyway when the liquid oxygen freezes. It happens. Hey, if that, you know, in spaceflight, you need all the help you can get. Okay. If you think it's gonna help, do it. You know, like I don't mind. Like, I'm not Orthodox. I don't care, dude. Bless that damn rocket. This thing needs to get into space. Let's go. You know, like, please. Need all the help we can get. JPL eating peanuts. Yeah, if you think it's gonna help, Lavi, let's do it. You know. I think not a bully on the air is something like Eric Hayes. Nope. It's always the X's, man. Oh, the X's with Russian get me every time. Yeah, comrade, that sounds right to me. Like, if dude wants to bless the damn rocket, let him bless the damn rocket. That's fine. I'll take the good graces, thank you very much. Almost got EJ to swear in Russian. Yet. Russia needs to change its alphabet. Its alphabet comes from ancient Greece, Phil. It came way before ours did, that's for sure. Came way before ours did, man. So who should change what? Like, to be fair, like if we're gonna call it like it is, you know, no. All right. Okay. No, we use Latin. Which one came first? I think Greek came before Latin, did it not? I don't know. I'm not a linguistics guy. You guys tell me. Yeah, 6. I'll take that too. We need some 40k Warhammer tech. I mean, tech gods of Mars for the Imperium of Man. Yeah, we were still scratching in mud huts when Greek was common. But Cyrillics is a modern implementation of Greek. I mean, I guess if you wanted to look at it that way. Okay. All right. Here's what you do. You guys, here's what you do. Find a Russian person and say, hey, your language sucks. You should use English. Do you know what they're going to say to you? Do you know what they're going to say to you? They're going to say, wait for it. Not a bully on the air. Yeah. We do that on a daily basis over here. They will say, no, Cam, what would they say? They will say, I wish you good health. I mean that sincerely. Really, I wish you good health. Don't worry, be happy. Oh, Phil. It's so messed up. Phil, it's so messed up, man. Oh my god. I wish you to live in interesting times. Oh my gosh. I wish you good health. It translates as may you survive the coming gunshot. Ooh! Alright, let's stop. Next news. Next news, man. Next news. Oh, boy. Oh, jeez. It's time to bring another rocket back from space. Oh, yeah. This tweet's coming from Rocket Lab here. Our next mission, launching in May, is another major step forward, making Electron the first orbital-class reusable small launch vehicle. Oh. Oh. You spiked the drink? No. No, that's too much work. Bump your cane into the guy on the street. That's what happened last time, if I remember right. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. And the cane, yeah. Read about it. It's pretty hardcore. Important to note is small vehicle. Yep, look at that little thing. So they're going to try to bring that one back. Falcon 1 was that, though. It performed perfectly. It performed the perfect RTLS on launch 1. I mean, Thomas, that is a... If you want to look at it that way, I'm not going to say don't look at it that way, but also... That's not how I would tell the story. I wish you good health. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. One more from ULA. Okay. I like that picture. Well, I'll show that in a second. Abort! Pull the ripcord! Guys, pull the ripcord! Thomas, oh my god, abort like dart. Oh, hey, don't, wait, what did he say? Don't take the air. You don't take the air. Not a bully on the air. Not a bully on the air. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense now. Oh, what he said makes way more sense now. Eric, not a bully on the air. Oh, he called him a pussy. Oh, I get it. Yeah, he's not a bully when you're in the public spotlight, right? It's easy to bully people in public like this. He basically said, say that to my face. Oh, yeah, all right. Dude, see what I mean? You look at it and you're like, what? What is that? Oh, yo. Dimitri-sama is mad. Yeah, Kim, it does, right? See last, please. What's up, Squish? How you doing? If they put an upper stage on New Shepard, could it be a small lift reusable orbital rocket on the same scale as Electron? Your mass fraction wouldn't be very good, dude.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
What you're basically saying is, like, if you put a bigger fuel tank on a golf cart, you could drive further. Yeah, but the golf cart wasn't really designed for long-distance driving in the first place. There's a lot of other things that you'd have to fix, right? But you could take that tech. I mean, New Shepard, honestly, you want my honest opinion? New Shepard would be a really good upper stage. Seriously, really good upper stage. If you took, like, a New Shepard stage and you put it on top of, I don't know, like an Antares core stage, oh, now we're talking. New Shepard would be a fantastic upper stage. James, 48-month resub. Eric is not banned to come to Russia. Yeah, Dimitri can't come over here. Yeah, they got mad at him that one time. You know what's messed up? I'd honestly love to meet the guy. I'd love to pick that dude's brain. Seriously, just like I'd want to talk to Elon or Tori or anybody else. Just figure out where you're at. That's all. No bull crap. I'd do it. I'd talk to him. Sure, why not? I'd just be like, yo, how much you like rockets? And he'd be like, duh. And I'd be like, all right, man, let's talk rockets, baby. Let's do it. Wait, golf carts are gas-powered? I thought they were all electric. It depends, Neb. Some of them use a gas engine with a centrifugal clutch. And others use electrics. There are gas-powered golf carts, yeah. That was the original plan for the Blue Orbital vehicle, if I recall correctly. The new first stage with New Shepard is the upper stage. I'll take the B3U, twin B3Us, and a 7-meter upper stage. Yeah, I'll take that. In the US, everything has an internal combustion engine. Well, no, our rocking chairs do not have an internal combustion engine, but in England they do, ironically with an American motor. Yes, there is a V8 powered rocking chair somewhere in the UK. My uncle has a diesel golf cart, granted it wasn't from factory that way. Is New Shepard cheaper than a Centaur though? I don't know, Epsiboy. That's a really good question. And a V8 powered blender. Tessa gets the reference. Oh, interesting, Sniper. I'm sorry, what Dimitri said just makes me laugh. called him the hell out, dude. And you know what? Eric's probably laughing. If I've been following Eric Berger for a little while. If I'm thinking about this right, he's probably laughing at him. But it's the cheeky laugh, like, ooh, you mad? If I had to guess. Huh, learn something new every day. Also, how are you? I just got a huge boost of morales with a road construction job that will actually pay me an amount that is worth it. Hell yeah, Neb. Here, let's celebrate, man. Congratulations. Let's celebrate, dude. Na zdrowie.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Cheers, frickface. Laughing at closing the curtains and nailing the doors. Tessa, I'll be honest, even if it's playing around, I wouldn't want Dimitri Rogozin mad at me. I just really wouldn't want that. Thanks, man. Hey, cheers. We do need roads where we're going, yeah, right? Yes, but Russia has a car-powered catapult. Garage 54. That was a great episode, man. Great episode. The pendulum paint was actually really cool, too. I enjoyed that. Those guys are cool as hell. Go hang out with those dudes, too. Eric will write a whole article about it. Cam, dude, look, I try to call it fair, man. I try to call it fair. That's all I try to do. I try to call it fair. I try to look at everything pretty objectively. The one thing, and I will self-admittedly, I have no problem admitting this. The one thing I don't call fair is China's space program. Because I don't like them dropping stages on people. But their rockets that don't, I will cheer on every step of the way. And I will try to call it fair, just like we really want to get a good understanding of what's going on in the industry. You got to call it fair. You got to be colorblind when it comes to this stuff. I mean, I also am colorblind for what it's worth, but, I try to call it fair, They did, James, and I have a problem with that. I'll be honest with you. A COPV came down in Washington State the other day from an upper stage that failed to deorbit. I have a big problem with that. Like I said, I gotta be fair. I don't like when China does it, so why would I think it's okay when SpaceX does it? It's not. It's not okay. Deorbit your upper stages correctly, please. I was thinking about Elon's comment about horizontal Starship landing. He will be landing it on parachutes instead of rocket engines. Oof. What if he lands it on a trampoline? Responsible spaceflight is important. That's correct. In Marmot, and I'm not trying to shame SpaceX. They had a problem with the upper stage. The SpaceX, with the vast majority of their stages, don't do that. Like 95% of their stages, you never hear about it. They deorbit them out over the ocean. Everything's good. The Starlink mission that we launched yesterday, before I was done with space news, SpaceX had the stage deorbited. So this was an anomaly, but it's an anomaly you need to fix. All right, you really have to fix that. All it's going to take is one COPV coming down in the wrong place and Donnie Darkoing someone. That's it. And that, dude, you're screwed. You are screwed. It's for the good of the space program, man. And that's why I'm so critical of China with Long March 3s and landing in villages and stuff. Dude, that is bad for the space program. Even if it comes out of China, if somebody over here that doesn't know that much about space sees people dropping stages on people, and they'll be like, why are we even going into space? You see what I'm saying? They'll default to, why are we going into space? This is a waste of money. Look at how this is hurting people. That is bad for humanity in terms of exploration in space. It doesn't matter who does it. It does not freaking matter. It doesn't matter if it's SpaceX. It doesn't matter if it's China. I mean, the Russian boosters land on land, but the likelihood of them hitting a person out in the wilderness is a needle in a haystack. But yeah, I mean, you got to be responsible with this stuff, man. You can't screw around. All it's going to take is one bad press article, one hit piece somewhere, and we're screwed. We're screwed. I said the other day they should remove some Starlink sats if its performance is preventing deorbit. This was the 4th stage that failed to deorbit from Starlink. Yeah. Well, Phil, they're optimizing that ascent trajectory. I think that's SpaceX's answer to that problem. I mean, did you see Falcon 9's radial outburn from yesterday, dude? Were you here for that? I've never seen a Falcon 9 drift through space. Hold on, I gotta show you guys this. The Starlink 24 mission that's yesterday, it was wild stuff. I've never seen a Falcon 9 do this. It did a radial outburn on ascent. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Here, check this out. This was the launch from yesterday. So watch. You see Falcon is going through maximum dynamic pressure. All right. So what you're looking for here is the angle of the booster and the angle of the flames coming out of the booster, okay? See the booster and the flames are pretty parallel right there. That looks right. Watch what Falcon 9 does. Watch this. This is wild stuff. Do you see it? It's very subtle. You wouldn't notice it unless you were looking for it. Okay, look. Look at the angle of Falcon 9, right? And look at the angle of the flames. That is a radial outburn, meaning that it's slightly pitched up relative to where it's going. It's flying this way and the booster's pointing that way. You do this to stretch performance out of your first stage if you want a higher insertion apogee. What does that mean in plain English? They're trying to get more performance out of the first stage by burning out like this. Because the easiest way to do this, okay? The easiest way if you wanted more performance to raise the apogee would be to burn this way. But the drone ship is only so far down range. Okay? Falcon 9 can only go so far down range, right? So what they're trying to do in the distance between the launch site and the drone ship is squeeze as much performance and fly in a much steeper ascent trajectory to push those Starlink sats higher, push the Starlink sats in the second stage higher into space. The higher the apogee is during when the second stage separates, the more performance, the more delta V you basically got out of the first stage. This is not the most efficient way to do this, but once again, you don't want the drone ship, you don't want a Falcon 9 landing up like by Massachusetts or something, right? You don't want it landing too far out to sea because the reentry trajectory will be no good. It'll burn up. It can only go so fast, all right? And burning radial out actually doesn't make you go as fast so much as push your AP up higher. Wow, earlier than normal. Phil, watch this. Watch, now that I showed it to you, watch the trail of flames and watch the rocket. It is ridiculous. I've never seen a Falcon 9 do that before. Stage 1 also reached 126 kilometer apogee. Look at it. What the frick, dude? That's a 220 foot freaking rocket drifting through space. That's ridiculous. It's a 22-story building. Look at that. The rocket's pointed this way, and the flames are going that way. I've never seen a rocket do that before. Actually, you know what? I have seen a rocket do that before. Hold on. I can show you the last time I saw a rocket do that before. Hang on. The last time I saw a rocket do that was when I watched this footage. So this is a Delta 6000 right here that launched on May 3rd, 1986. So watch, everything's going nice and good. Everything's going nice. Uh-oh. 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 And payload obliterated. The last time I saw a rocket pitch like that, it did that. Is that full gimbal? It must be, Hellfish. I mean, dude, that thing is straight up drifting into space. It's unreal. Are these pre-programmed maneuvers? They're pre-programmed maneuvers, Neospike. Yep. when you turn on SAS, but it's not targeting prograde vector. So what happened with this is they lost gimbal control. So there was 3 fixed nozzle SRMs pushing this into space. They lost gimbal control on the RS-27. And watch what the aerodynamic forces do to this booster's payload fairing. Now keep in mind, this is an aluminum payload fairing, so it's not weak by any means. It goes too far. The fairing isn't designed to have aerodynamic forces hit it from the side like that, especially at this speed. Watch. And flashbulb. Goodbye. Up, there goes your payload. It Thanos'd that aluminum fairing. Like, that's the... Dude, I thought Falcon 9 was gonna do it. I didn't want to say anything. I'm like, that looks really bad. Yeah, ready? And pop! See ya. Goodbye. Yep. Mr. NASA, I don't feel so good. And now, in that regard, look at this thing. Dude, dude, I am impressed. That is freaking cool, man. Oh, man. The shuttle basically did this every time because it had to. Did it land? Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why that's why doing U-turns with rockets, Matt, is very Delta V intensive, because you're going fast. Lavi, I've never seen it so clear like that. That is ridiculous. Oh, it's so cool. I'm surprised people aren't talking more about this. That is so legit. You don't know how difficult that is. The rocket was never designed... The rocket's was never designed to have air come at it like this. It's not a space shuttle. The rocket's designed to have air coming over the front, and that's pretty much it. The fact that it can do that, and the fact that they figured out that Falcon 9 can do that, really goes to show you how much they're stretching the performance of that. Think they used max gimbal? I don't know, man. They're definitely using something there. And Thomas said that this apogee was 126 kilometers, as opposed to what it usually is about 115. So that tells me that that is exactly what we're seeing. The staging apogee was 126 kilometers up. That's really far. I'm amazed this booster landed. It's crazy. And look, see it straighten out? All right. Look at the difference. This is what I like showing people. Look at the difference. Falcon 9's pointing at my mouse cursor. Look at the next frame. Holy crap, dude. Holy crap. The staging apogee, Thomas. So the apogee at staging, not the your apogee at staging, not your altitude at staging, bud. See what I'm talking about, man? Look at that. Holy crap, dude. That's insane. That's cool. All right? That's cool. Dude, look at... Come on now. Oh, how is that even a thing? How is that even a thing? I don't... Dude. Oh, my goodness. That blows my mind, man. Falcon 9's real good. Real good at what it does, dude. How far do they push the margin of safety for the rocket body when this maneuver is done? Casimir, you're stretching it. It's definitely stretching it. Dude, there's a website called Flight Club. So like Fight Club, right? But with an L. Flightclub.io that kind of... It takes SpaceX's telemetry that they show on the webcast and kind of plots it for you. I can say pretty reasonably that SpaceX tests a new ascent trajectory every time they launch a Starlink. Every time. And now that could just be because of a launch window, etc., etc., but this one had almost a 15 kilometer apogee difference from every other Starlink mission. A 15 kilometer apogee difference. That's 9.5 miles higher than what it usually flies. That's not taking into account for launch window. That is an optimized descent trajectory. That's what we're talking about there. And you could see it every time. Like SpaceX had that booster that failed during reentry. I guarantee you it was flying a different flight. It was testing something. I guarantee it. Isn't that cool though? I mean, SpaceX, Falcon 9 is frozen, right? But the development and engineering on the vehicle is frozen, but not the flight optimization. They're still finding ways to wring performance out of Falcon 9, which is still cool. What's the record for most flights by a booster? 9. 10, what is it, guys? 1059 and 1061, I believe both have... 1059 has 9 flights on it, and I think 1061 does as well. Yeah, we watched, that was the Starlink 17 mission. Starlink 17, that booster that launched it had flown 8 times. Isn't it cool, Marmot? Yeah, I don't know why more people aren't talking about that. That's fascinating to me. What's up, Corey? I'm the spaceman, man. Yeah, right. I'm not NASA official. Corey, just to, get that out of the way. I don't work for NASA. But I'm not a rocket scientist, but I play one on TV. "51 has 9 flights, 49 has 8. It's 49 and 51, not 59 and 61. Is it possible to be able to use 2 Falcon 9 to boost the shuttle into space? Blackster, you're talking about if you took the SRBs on the shuttle? No. You'd need 4. You'd need 4 Falcon 9s. And that's just talking about thrust. Dude, the SRBs are no joke, man. A single 4-segment SRB, so like the shuttle booster SRBs, they make double the thrust. Each one of them makes double the thrust of a Falcon 9. And that's Block 5 Falcon 9, which has the most thrust out of any Falcon. What if you take off the external tank? No, I mean any booster. Like, Force. It hasn't gotten up to SRB casings. There were some SRB casings that were used over 10 times, and some shuttle engines that were used over 10 times. I'm confused how I'm followed to you. Did you play Assetto Corsa or something? Yeah, Corey. We play Assetto every Friday night, dude. We do NASCAR and stuff. But that's just on Friday nights. On the weekends, okay, Corey, I'm a car nutcase. Like, I have a bad carcane problem. You'll find out just how bad it is when I finish the truck. I got super into space lately and just bought KSP. Oh, you come to the right place, man. Corey, I've noticed that. Most people that like racing cars also like the space program. I don't know why. Maybe just because things go fast? Hey, Izzer, what's up? I'm a sim racer and space guy right now. Oh, you'll fit in just fine here. Yeah, you'll fit in just fine. I have GT3 drivers that race with me when we race Assetto sometimes, when they're not actually racing cars. Yeah, you'll fit in just fine here. I'm a car nutcase. And you got gifted a sub. Yeah, Corey, you like space, dude? So, Corey, because I'm a car nutcase, I use a lot of analogies with automobiles to explain how rockets work. Why? More people know about cars than they know about rockets. So, I'll give you one right off the bat, right? What does a turbocharger do on a car? It is a turbine that's powering an air compressor, right? That charges the air, right? It adds lag but zoom. My man. Whoosh. That's right. Right? So on a rocket, most rocket engines, for instance, here, I'll just give you just a random example. Rockets have a turbine, and they have a turbine housing, just like a car does. It's very similar, actually. Well, not really, but the rocket ones are a little more heavy duty. They move a lot faster. But instead of an air charger on the top, they have a fuel pump impeller. So, like, imagine if you took, like, an electronic fuel pump from a race car, took the electric motor off, and attached that to the front of a turbo. That's how rocket engines feed fuel. It's not a turbocharger, it's a turbo fuel pump. So, a turbo pump. Same thing. You want to see the size of the turbos? Turbos, 70 millimeter? Nah. 80 millimeter? No. 120 mil. Too small. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, what a rocket engine does and what a car engine does, not that far apart. They're pretty easy to understand. It's just doing that whole rocket science thing that's a little bit of a pain in the butt. Okay, so these are SpaceX's prototype engines for Starship, for the big grain silo that they have down in Texas. Look at the size of that damn impeller and the damn turbine. Dude, we're talking basketball. And not basketball on the diameter of the housing. Basketball on the impeller. Dude, we're talking like a foot wide turbine here. These turbines spin at like 20,000 RPM. So like Formula 1 engine stuff right here. Yeah. Yeah. And there's two of them. There's another one up here. One of them is for the liquid fuel and the other one's for the oxidizer. So rocket engines, because there's no air up there, need to bring the oxygen with them, so they use liquid oxygen as the oxidizer. It's kind of like using nitrous, but yeah. When you turn on the rocket engine, Corey, you know in like Fast and Furious, the first one where he presses the button and everything gets blurry? Yeah, with the rocket engine that happens. Just, like... Yeah, you have a question about space, dude? I got you. You have a question about cars? I got you. What was the RPM on the F1 engine? It was 10 to 12,000, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be wrong. That was off the top of my head. So mad I was moving the conduit and it disappeared. Oh. Yeah, we'll find another one, killer. It's really not a big deal. Yeah, rocket engines just have permanent nitrous. Corey, actually, another thing. You want to hear another funny one? Virgin Orbit has a space plane that flies up like to really high altitude and comes back down. It's a solid rocket motor with nitrous injection on it. Yeah. Yeah, they inject nitrous into an SRB, which is... Okay. How does that work? Well, it's an SRB, and an SRB is like a pipe, right, with Play-Doh around the outside lining the pipe, and then there's a fuel injector with a nitrous solenoid on it. And when they turn the engine on, they click the solenoid open, and it shoots nitrous into the combustion chamber. Into a rocket engine's combustion chamber. It's a little violent of an event. Yeah, but it'll get you into space. Yeah. I am confused. I hear there's a load of engines in one motor thing or whatever. Like they say 20-something engines were used. In what regard, Corey? What do you mean? Hey, Monica. How are you? So, you want to cluster engines together on rockets sometimes. In the same way, okay, so like, Corey, you know the advantages of an inline 6 over like a V8? So with Virgin Galactic, do they plan to have passenger missions sort of like Blue Origin? That's exactly what they're trying to do, yeah. Okay, so here, you want to learn cars and rockets? I got you. So, Ferrari in Formula 1, fast cars, right? Ferrari for the longest time until they started over-regulating Formula 1, but that's a soapbox that I'll get on another day. Ferrari with Formula 1 used a 3-liter V12, okay? The idea with that is that if you have smaller cylinders, right, and a smaller displacement, and not a very high stroke, so the piston doesn't move very far, right? It doesn't move far back and forth. With a very small cylinder, you can spin that cylinder faster. You could spin the crankshaft faster. So the Ferrari could hit revs till the end of time. Like they had a V12 that could rev to like 10,000 RPM in the 80s, in the 70s, which is crazy. That's a lot of rotating mass. So what I'm trying to get at is that cars have different types of cylinders for different purposes. A truck engine. Take a 7.3 Power Stroke that's in a diesel engine that's in a truck. That is a big freaking piston and a huge freaking stroke because it needs to make torque. But diesel engines can't rev very fast. That's why we use diesel engines for trucks, because you need torque to pull whatever the hell you're pulling, right? A Ferrari, for instance, doesn't need a lot of torque because it's a light Formula 1 car, but it needs to rev and it needs to make power so it can go faster, right? So long story short, with rockets, there's an application there. Sometimes having a lot of smaller rocket engines has a different effect than having one big freaking rocket engine on the bottom. Now, that has a lot to do with manufacturing. It's easier to make smaller rocket engines. Just like in case of like Honda or Toyota, it's easier to make a lot of smaller engines rather than big engines, right? You know, they squeeze power out of the smaller engines. Whereas you have like a Dodge Hellcat, which is like, hey, throw more fuel at the problem, please, and we'll make more power that way. Thank you. Oh, we're out of oxidizer? Supercharger. You know what I mean? Rockets have different ways of solving that problem. So sometimes clustering engines is the right move. In the case of Falcon 9, right, you want 9 engines there because if an engine blows up, an engine goes out, you can use the 8 other engines to still get you into space. If you have one engine on a rocket and you're going up and the engine fails, you got a big problem. You got a big problem. You're not going to space today. So they cluster rocket engines on rockets with it's for a certain reason. It could be for engine out capability. Falcon 9 also has clustered engines so it can land, because rocket engines don't throttle very well. Trying to throttle a rocket engine down below like 50% power, it would be like trying to have an engine, a gasoline engine, idle at 200 RPM. It would just be like bleh, 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 and then it would stop. Yes, it would make that noise. Trust me. Okay, I've tried to make it happen. Doesn't work. Space NASCAR. I mean, Corey, you're making a joke, but did you know if you want to orbit around the planet, you need to go fast and turn left? Just saying. Just saying. Seriously. The best way to orbit around the planet, because you're going with the planet's spin, is counterclockwise. Go fast, turn left, raise hell, praise Dale, brother. Cool tech, boring racing. Oh, damage, they're fixing that. I know. We've decided to join the 21st century. They're testing rain tires with NASCAR, and they're doing dirt road courses. You mean to tell me we can go fast, turn left, and then we can also go fast, turn left and right? You son of a gun, I'm in! Why are they testing rain tires when they don't drive in rain? Because NASCAR is basically becoming like BTCC or V8 supercars. It's very, very quickly turning into like V8 supercars. And you know what? I'm okay with that. As long as we get some super speedway racing, I'm cool with that. And some short track racing. Then we're talking. I mean, Matt, the funny thing is, I was never a Dale Earnhardt fan. I respected him, but I like Dale Jarrett better. I was a Dale Jarrett and Rusty Wallace guy. Sorry, guys. I praise Dale. It just was another Dale. I hated Jeff Gordon. Canadian, I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand that guy. I'm like, stop winning. I hate you. Because circles are boring? Nah, Da Vinci, they're not. I would, if you guys don't like circle track racing, come and watch us play Assetto one time. Okay? Watch us play Assetto. Watch how crazy it gets when you have 10 cars going 200 miles an hour in like essentially as close as they'd be in a parking lot. It gets pretty insane. You got like short track racing isn't like Formula 1, dude. I never thought that was right. Comparing Formula 1 to NASCAR is like comparing rally to drag racing. It's not the same. It's a different type of racing. But if you understand it and you get introduced to it in the right way, it's really cool. Like, and I'll be honest, I just like stuff that goes fast. I don't care if it's going fast and turning left, or, you know, I don't care if it's Joey Logano going like 220 miles an hour around Indy, or if it's Lewis Hamilton breaking a lap record on every single goddamn track. I really don't care. I like stuff that goes fast. I like all types of racing, dude. Spent the day with the kids at Discovery Park in Union City, Tennessee. I have some pictures of a Titan and other stuff if you're interested. Done. You're asking me if I'm interested in pictures of rockets. Done. Just post the damn picture, man. Why do you have a truck then? I have cars, Tom. The truck is just what I work on, dude. Bro, I have 3 cars, man. Do they need to shift something on the safety side? Nah, the NASCARs are pretty... They're fine. I mean, dude, the thing can survive being T-boned upside down going like 200 miles an hour. I think the rain will be okay. No, you have land yachts. The Mustang is not a land yacht. What's up, Leve? Speaking of clustering engines, been reading on SLS's engine out capability. Check this out. SLS can have an RS-25 fail on liftoff and still reach orbit. An AMT-LO on that graph. At T plus 100 seconds, it can reach a high orbit, AMT high orbit, and around T plus 220 seconds can press the MECO without any changes to the mission. Lavi, it's a good design. It really is. It's not the worst. Let's see. Huh. It's what, 3,500 pounds? No. The Mustang isn't that much. There's no way. There's no way it's 3,500 pounds, Tessa. I mean, it's heavy, but it's not that heavy. I'd say 3,200 pounds. It's probably 3,500 with my fat butt in it. Yeah, see? Yeah. 3351. 1,500 kilograms for the Euros. Yeah, see, that's the convertible. The convertible's always heavier because the roof is basically a strut that connects the front to the back of the car. So if you have a convertible, you have to reinforce the frame down here to make up for the fact that you don't have a strut connecting the front and back of the car. Convertibles are heavier despite not having a roof. True story. Yeah, 33. They're heavy, but they ain't that heavy. I don't like convertibles because they're heavy and gross. Because they're heavy. Because my performance. I really don't like convertibles, especially performance convertibles. It's just like, all right. Okay, so here, you guys want to see something cool? This is coming from Mars. You guys probably appreciate this. Whoop. Oh, Celtic, I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll figure something out. When hop? 3 days, actually. They're targeting the 11th for when hop. Dat carbon fiber dough. Yeah, try to shoot it to me on Discord or something. I can't send it on Discord. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure something out, Celtic. I'm fine if someone's gonna give me a convertible Porsche. Nah, coops. Excuse me. I know, Ian. I know. On me. I mean, if you want to make yourself into a boardwalk, you're more than welcome to do that. I mean, just do it on your own time, okay? No. Let me take a look. So, Ian, I got an idea, all right? It's a weird idea, but an idea nonetheless. Are you familiar with what a breakwater is? I want to be a boardwalk when I grow up. Why is the rotation the wrong way? I don't know, maybe they were just testing something. Dude, put a breakwater off the edge here, because in reality, if we had ships coming in here in the Minecraft server, if we had ships coming in here and ships being moored in here all the time, they would leave a huge wake. Put a breakwater in there to protect the beach, right? And maybe you could put a boardwalk on that. Or Or you could put it right here, but still, build a breakwater like out of stone or something, dude. Literally jetty park. Okay, yeah, I don't need to say anything else. You got it. Yeah, I don't need to say anything else. You got that under control. You got a KSP server for that multiplayer thing? No, that's our multiplayer Minecraft project. We got to remember that. We got to complete the ships. It's a shipyard project first. Remember that, guys. Make one? Nah, KSP multiplayer isn't stable enough to do something like that. Alright. Anyway, we're going to finish up space news here with a Starship video, and then there's one final thing I want to show you guys at the end of this video. This footage is coming from NASA spaceflight. It's coming from Boca Chica Gal over at NSF. Let's see what we got. SN20 forward dome. Yeah, I know, J Tacos. It's cool. You guys will like that last bit. This thing, you guys will like that. I'll show that to you in a second. Supposedly orbital hardware. Yeah, that's right, Gorn. Wouldn't that be something? That's a part of a spaceship that's just sitting out in a driveway. It just blows my mind that something that's going to go into space right now is sitting out in someone's like in the driveway. Hey, Thomas, are you here? I'm thinking a boardwalk set on the backside of the beaches with little beach huts and shops. Not too stuck up, just a little. Yeah, do it, Ian. Yeah, go ahead. What's that?
Discovery.
Anybody figured out what that is? Hokey. Tier 3, 73 months. Ferd! Want me to take down or move the lighthouse that's in the way of Jetty Park? No, build it into it. I like the lighthouse being there. Header tank baffles. Ah, okay. Whoa, dude. Yo. Holy crap. That's a lot of pipes. That's not Falcon 9. That's a Starship first stage thrust section. That will be able to hold 28 Raptors. Oh my goodness. Ah. It's got the 1050. Heavy duty rear end. Nice truck. Now imagine the plumbing inside. I mean, I too can make a bowl of ramen, Mason. So these Ninja Star things that are here is a flange that's reinforcing this area like this. And if you noticed, each one of these brackets that they welded on here are beveled. Do you see that? They're kind of at the edge of the hole. The bracket curves in like this. That's to prevent the tank from warping. You don't want anything moving around because they're going to have pipes, and those pipes are going to be attached to rocket engines, and those rocket engines are going to be shaking all over the place. You don't want them bouncing around and hitting things and bending the metal. Yeah, N1 problems. See how it's all beveled right there? See how each one of these is beveled? And then this one, I think that's the, that one is methane, the one with this ring, and that one's oxygen, if I'm thinking about this right. Because you can always tell which one is which, and you didn't look no more than the size of the fuel tanks. We know that Starship has a physically smaller methane tank than it does oxidizer tank, so smaller pipe is methane. That one's liquid oxygen. I know, racing, right? Yeah. They're definitely back purging the welds here too, especially with the stainless. I don't see any impurities, man. That's a really nice weld. It's a series of tubes. It's like a big truck. Yeah, Velo, of course it did. Sheriff. Yeah, see, they tested one of those flanges right there. See it? That's definitely a test piece. The orbital pad, the guys are still heating up. See? He's got a propane torch right there. Well, I tell you what, they got a dang old propane torch right there. I tell you what, they're going to use the propane, they're going to heat up the welds, and those welds power America, I tell you. Will BN1 go to the pad? I'm not sure, Josh. It's hard to say. I think it'll probably find its way out there. SpaceX needs to figure out how to move the thing. So yeah, it'll probably find its way out there. Oh, dang it, Bobby. Bobby, if you weren't my son, I'd give you a hug. Another ground service equipment tank just popped up overnight. That's great. Didn't they just move one of those to the pad a second ago? I agree, Mason. You know, a lot of folks say, like, why don't you just put all the Raptors on a test stand with Starship and green run it or something? I think that the Starship's flying is that's the test stand. That's their integrated test stand. Starship's doing hops. It's cheaper than building a test stand. It's not a little bit more messy. Booster number 1, Corey. It's the first stage for Starship. The thing is, it's like 220 feet tall, the booster, and about 30 feet wide. It's big. Yeah, it's big. I agree, dude, brother. Yep. They might be username. I'm not sure. Isn't Starship supposed to be the replacement to Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy? Yeah, pretty much. See, one of the tanks is already out there. And then I guarantee you that next one is going right here on top of that foundation. Ferd. Crane doesn't have the wagon attached. The wagon's actually over there. You can see it. It was in the background. See the wagon? There it is. Will the booster fly alone? I'm not sure, dude. This was yesterday. We saw them drop that thing down on there. Are those oxidizer and methane pipes? They're most likely vent pipes, Canadian. You generally don't take fuel from out the top of a fuel tank, dude. So, like, the pipes coming out of the top of this, I'd assume is what you're talking about. In terms of this, I'm not sure what those fuel tanks are for. Starlink went fine, PBT. Can Tankzilla lift the boosters onto the test stand, or do they need a bigger crane? I think it might be too heavy. I think they need a bigger crane. Because with BN1, the crane, you can make Big Chungus, the blue crane, Blue Zilla, you can make that thing tall. You can make it tall enough to reach up and over. They used that crane to put BN1 together inside of the high bay behind the excavator, right? I'm not sure if the crane could reach up and over and pick the whole booster up. I'm not 100% on that one. Maybe. Yeah, I call the crane Big Chungus. Bolshoi Chunguska. They're building a bigger crane. Well, awesome. I'll get to that in a second. Ferd. See, the cranes are configurable. They're like Legos. See, that piece right there, that's a piece to a crane. It's a piece to the boom. See the blue piece? That's another piece. That close to Mexico, it should be Chungus Grande. Okay. Azul Chungus Grande. What changed on the Raptors on it? SpaceX rolled out with a new generation of Raptors, Unity. I don't know much more about it other than it looks different than the Raptors that have flown on 8, 9, 10, and 11. That's about it. Did you see that the integration tower will have prefabricated pieces? Yeah, that's the last bit of news. Mason, I'm getting to it. Alright, Celtic, see you, buddy. Go do that. That's good. Yeah, damage. The construction site is cool, man. Can't believe DOS has stands now. What do you mean, Loopy? Stands? Who's Stan? Locks distillery site work. Stan! Who is your Stan and what does he do? Rocket Ranch, Boca Chica. What is a stan, Loopy? I don't know what that means. What kind of Zoomer crap is this? Stans are people who really like an online personality. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, Stans from the Eminem song. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. That's a messed up song. In your dream, I hope you can't sleep and you scream about it. I hope your conscience eats at you. You can't breathe without me. It's a messed up song. I listened to that when I was like 12. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, Blue, we all did. We all did. Yeah, it's a little weird, Loopy, but alright. Hey, whatever. I think this is going to hold liquid nitrogen. I'm pretty sure you can tell because of the way that it is. Well, and you know what? That's pretty neat. Yeah, exactly, Fozzie. You can tell it's a liquid nitrogen tank because of the way that it is. This tank has elephantitis. I mean, he's earned it. Yeah, of course. On aircraft carriers, the entire liquid oxygen shop can be jettisoned out the side if an emergency happens. Really? Nah, Corey. If it was an issue, I probably would have heard about it. It's probably just something they noticed. Yeah, Starfleet. I'm getting to that. I'm not sure if that's in the video, but yeah, here. Guys, I'll be right back. My back's kind of pinching on me for a second. I gotta usually take a knee when my back starts to hurt. I gotta go stretch it real quick. I'll be back in a second, okay? Back in one moment, and then we'll discuss that.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Dude, I'm telling you, sometimes I can feel my back starting to lock up, and I'm just like, nah. How did Chair go? Did Chair keep you guys entertained? All right. Do I have pictures of that dang old nose cone here? That dang old nose cone. I don't think so. Ah, there it is. I have one. So, first of all, here. The first thing is that the Starship Prototype that's sitting out at the build site. Let's see if I'm not sure if we had a picture of it in that last NSF video. Right there. All right, see this thing? The Starship nose cone prototype that has some weird mass simulator on it. It is on some kind of test stand rig. Today, they put that on it. How do I ensure my sub money goes to my favorite streamer? Yes. Chair had funny jokes? Good. Chair insulted me and looked at me funny. Oh, well, you probably deserved it. Hey, Mac Parts, what's up, dude? I have nothing but questions. Bluelin, I don't know. Yeah, no, I have no idea. I got nothing. I'm serious. I really have no idea. Share is the best joke sitting in it. Big Body, 46-month resub. I don't know. There's speculation that this nose cone is for structural testing. The modified front would allow for simulating inertial nodes of a full LOX header tank. Why? So, Entropy, that makes sense. Now my question is why? Why would you need to do that? Are they having problems with the LOX tank? There's that word again. Heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is the problem with the Earth's gravitational pull? Wait, it has nothing to do with it, Marty. You have to come back with me. Where? Back to the future. Is it a window test? I don't know. I seriously don't know. At face value, this looks like the Lunar Starship. At face value, that looks like the front of the Lunar Starship. This is an official SpaceX render right here, and the front of the Lunar Starship has a blunt nose like that, with what I would assume would be a docking port. But what's that, Jackery? To the moon. Oh, jeez. I don't know. Guys, I seriously, I don't know. I have no idea. This kind of looks like it's a stand-in for a docking port, but if it is for Lunar Starship, so let's do some deductive reasoning here. No, this is not me trying to prove a point. I'm trying to talk myself through this. So, let's look. This thing was attached. It clearly has hoist points right here. See this huge gusset right there? That's for lifting something.
Discovery,
Okay?
go at throttle up.
They're lifting something. Now, this right here, whatever this hatch is supposed to be, right there, it has crash test dummy markers or anthropomorphic test device markers here, right? Like, so that's, these things are generally used to figure out orientation of parts, and you can also use it to measure stretch. So like if you have footage, right, and you have footage and those things are on there, right, and the thing stretches in one way or another, if you stop the footage and you measure the distance between those 2 points, that means you stretched in one axis or another. Now, the orientation of these is triangular, so that just actually raises more questions. If there was one here, one here, one here, and one there, I would be like, all right. Now, the top. Up here is something that's clearly reinforced. It's clearly a reinforced flange right here, and then that little thing coming out the top, I have no idea. Now, I would be curious if someone was going to take, if someone was to take this and look at an Orion capsule, to take this, look at an Orion capsule, and see if that, the diameter of that is the same diameter as this. Not the docking port, the outer edge right here. See that outer edge? That's what I would be measuring it against. Because the IDSS needs a wider thing to mount to. This right here is called an International Docking System Standard, or an IDSS port for short. The IDSS is what Orion uses, and if it's for a Lunar Starship, that would mean Starship needs an IDSS as well, on the top. And SpaceX's Lunar Starship, it's pretty straightforward that that's what they're doing, right? So, I'd be curious to measure that flange to that flange and see if it's the same size. Because if it's the same size, dude, it might be the same piece. You never know. An aerodynamic load simulator is my bet to simulate the loads on nose cone during ascent. I suppose. Are all of the HLS landers, do all the HLS landers in Gateway have an IDSS? Yep. So what about the header tank? MotoKid, that's why I have no idea what this thing is supposed to do. Check below for comments from the FAA and NASA. Got it. That right there really confuses me, because this definitely does have a header tank in it, from what I understand, from what we've seen. I'm failing to understand why you would need to measure loads on the nose cone at this stage in development. Keep in mind, guys, when I say I don't understand, that's actually what I mean. I don't get why you would need to do that right now. And now, I know the face value answer is like, well, SpaceX needs to test nose cone loads for when they launch it into space. Yeah, but why? Why don't you think they would have tested that already? Purpose is to throw the Russians off the trail. My guess is to validate structures at full payload capacity during phases of flight. So far, we've only seen subsonic. Okay, that's fair. Header tank could be used as an airlock. It's actually not a bad idea, Torlev. That's not a bad idea at all. Lunar Starship may not need it up there. Maybe they can move it down into the O2 tank. Well, the Lunar Starship doesn't need header tanks because the Lunar Starship is a lander. It doesn't come back. It stays either on the surface of the moon or orbiting around the moon. Maybe it's just a docking prototype. They put it there for the time being and they'll figure it out later. Everything is deliberate, Swishio. with spaceflight. Everything is deliberate. Everything happens for a reason, dude. So I doubt they would just put it there for fun. But I do understand what you're saying. Maybe we're not seeing the whole picture. Maybe they have to add more parts. Well, there you go. No? Yeah, Motorkid, I suppose. But don't you think... Okay, alright. Let me just... Fellas, don't get all bent out of shape. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Don't you think if they were going to measure aerodynamic loads on Starship that they'd use an entire Starship? They would use the whole thing. Not just the nose cone, right? Like, I'm just... Once again, this is why I'm confused. I'm playing devil's advocate here. Like... Why would they just use a nose section to test that? You're just going into conspiracy mode. Healthy skepticism is part of being scientific, Mac. People just get confused and just start getting skeptical of stuff of everything. That's my problem with conspiracy theorists. They're skeptical of every single freaking thing. Every single thing. And then they defend being skeptic of stuff under the guise of, being skeptical is scientific. And it is part of being scientific. But that's one part of the scientific method. Okay? That's like saying, I put on my shirt. I have underwear on now. Well, I mean, if you have a onesie on, then yes. But I've never seen a conspiracy theorist with a onesie on, okay? Boom. Logic. Destroyed. You're welcome. Oh, just messing with you. Oh, no, Mac, I was going along with it. I went along with the joke because onesies. This is weird now, isn't it? Hey, I'm just asking questions. Ask away. After the nose cone, it's basically just a cylinder, so there's no real aerodynamic stress after that. You're not gonna incorporate your fuel tanks into that, especially since your fuel tanks are structural for it. That doesn't sound right to me. But I mean, you could be, once again, you could be right. I'm just asking questions. Yeah, right. Causation is not correlation, correct? You know, Hip, I've read my fair share of pretty well thought out conspiracies. The funny thing is that the well thought out stuff never gets talked about. It's just the crazy stuff that gets talked about. Like, okay, it's no secret that the Department of Defense has aerodynamic capability that's like 30 years into the future. Everyone knows that. That's not a conspiracy. But, like what kind of weapons do they have? Who knows? Hypersonic weapons? What's the X-37 doing up there? Like, that's the kind of stuff that's like well thought out and logical. Like, it's pretty straightforward that the X-37 is testing some type of optics package or something. I mean, it could be anything. I don't know. But, like, there's only so many things you would want to put up into space and then bring back down, like, a little bit later, right? Like, why would the Department of Defense need a capability like that? Well, what would they be testing? You suppose Lunar Starship will actually be smaller than normal Starship? No, same size with no header tanks and no fins, Hellfish. Yeah, X-37's up there to polish the dome. Like, dude, I've read my fair share of ones. I'll admit, I like watching that stuff, to be honest with you. I think it's really funny. Like, I remember one time there was an alien, like, maybe it was Ancient Aliens or something, and they found this guy in Mexico, right, that's like, I have a piece to an alien spaceship. And he's like, do you want to see it? Right, and they're like, yeah, we want to see it. And the guy pulls out a pressure vessel that's blatantly from an Atlas rocket. Because it said, I forget what it said. I don't know if it said like ULA on it or something. But it has all the pressure vessel specifications etched into the side. He's like, no human could make a surface this smooth. I'm like, that's... Right. I thought it was funny. I'm like, dude, you got a COPV from an Atlas. He's like, it washed up on shore. I'm like, yeah, I know, because the rocket part. Guess where the rockets go? I thought it was funny. It made me laugh. Last, please. Got a question. I don't know, Flakin. Your questions are kind of dragging. Can I keep talking about space news, please? Yeah, like, now, do you remember that? The guy is just, he has a COPV. I'm like, that's a, okay. Go on with the chlorophyll. Engineering question. These numbers down here are the tolerance allowed within the blueprint, right? I don't know, man. What are we looking at? I'm not 100% on that. Somebody else would have to comment, but that seems like what it is, but I don't know for sure. All right. Anyway, yeah, guys, I'll be honest, and I'm not afraid to say I have no freaking clue what that is. Also, just an important note: it's painted. Stainless steel is extremely hard to paint. So, dude, I don't even know if that's made out of stainless steel. That could be aluminum. I don't know for sure. So, yeah, I mean, anodized, I guess. It's, well, they painted the crash test dummy logos on there, so, yeah, dude, I don't know. Yeah, Game Coder, I'm not sure what these are. They're to measure something, but they're measuring something. Why is this here? What is this supposed to be? Hold on 1 second. The last time I saw something like that on any starship, it was on Mark 1, if I'm remembering correctly. There was definitely a hatch up there at the top on Mark 1. The first, like, kind of full Starship Prototype of majig. It was up there at the top. That's the last time I saw anything like that. Thomas, what would that be used for? A header tank access hatch, maybe? Like, that's the only thing I could really think of. Hi, Elon. Okay. What if it's a placeholder for something like the Space Shuttle nose cone reinforced carbon-carbon? That was before the headers were like they are. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. You can't conclusively say what that is. I mean, it's definitely something to test load or something. It's for testing, but they're clearly interested in this panel right here, right? Because it's a panel that's attached there, and it's also painted, and it also has the telemetry markers on it. So, with this entire testing device, SpaceX is clearly interested in this, what this panel is going to do with however they're going to test it. But honestly, that whole test stand just really confuses me. I'll be honest, I really have no idea. Graphic of Mark 1. Yeah. It's weird, Thomas. No, not yet, Dream. There's no RGV footage. The bottom of the black section could be 3.14 meters in diameter. That is the diameter of the header tank. Huh. Okay. Anyway, last bit of space news here. You guys will appreciate this. There is more, but we could go on for a long time. There is a couple of Elon tweets as well. Check the placement of the hole in the wings. Maybe that are people that... Yeah, of course, that's true. Okay, so this is the FAA website. The FAA website had a form submitted to it today from SpaceX. All right. It's for a structural permit for something that's going to be high up the ground enough for where planes need to look out for it. So check this out. Brownsville, Texas. Cameron County. No airport within 12 nautical miles. Distance to structure. On airport property, no. Direction of structure. Description of location. This new structure will be located at SpaceX's launch site. The structure will be approximately 0.5 miles from the beach and within 2,800 feet of United States FWIZ property. I forgot what that means. Nearby airfields includes Federal Wildlife Service. Yeah. Because it's a wildlife refuge. That's Federal Wildlife Service. All right. Nearby airfields include the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport. SpaceX is proposing a 469-foot tall launch tower with a 10-foot lightning rod to lift its new rocket and booster on the launch mount and to catch the Super Heavy booster upon return from launch. The tower will be constructed out of structural steel trusses to allow for the mechanical arms to lift vehicles. I read that as stainless steel trusses for whatever reason. Structural steel trusses to allow mechanical arms to lift vehicles. Guy wasn't kidding, man. He wasn't kidding. Lieutenant Doctor's 2 months' pay, or 2 weeks' pay. He ain't kidding. No, he's not kidding. I don't... The steel will be staged on the landing pad, where it will be put together in subsections and then placed on the base of the tower. Thomas, the last time I saw a steel truss structure come together like this for any type of space program was the Launch Umbilical Tower for SLS. The SLS is a steel truss prefabricated structure. So you make it in sections and then you build it on site. You don't just build it all right there. I'm picturing the Launch Umbilical Tower, but dude, it's got to be bigger than that. Oh yeah, the New Glenn fixed service structure as well, yeah. Yeah, 142 meters. How? Like, okay, I'll straight up admit it. How are you going to do that? How are you going to catch Super Heavy? Elon had some he had some stuff to say about it. So somebody linked this. Just one skyscraper catching another, no big deal. How do you plan on doing that? By the grid fins? The load points are just below the grid fins. Hey DM, what's up? So whoever would crash into it. Like, shock absorption is built into the tower arms. Since the tower is ground side, it can use a lot more mass to arrest the booster's downward momentum. I mean, yeah, I've said that you're going to need one hell of a shock absorber on there. You're going to need a huge damper. The damper is going to be gigantic. Like, it'll be like a shock that you put on your car that's as tall as a Falcon 9 first stage or something. Nah, probably not that big, but... Impossible until it isn't. No, well, Vilo, like... I don't... I'm going to try to say... I don't think it's impossible. It's just... really difficult. It'll never happen, and if by some miracle they do, it'll end up like the fairing catching. As soon as they realize that landing it next to the pad and using a crane to immediately put it on the pad is just as good. Raja, it could be what I was talking about yesterday. SpaceX could be committing into this mindset. They could be committing to this mindset to do exactly what you're saying. They've done this before, and I cited the fairings as an example. SpaceX will just... Elon will just come up with some crazy idea. And in trying to solve that crazy idea, they'll figure out a better way to do it. Yeah, I still think landing it on the hold, and this is my armchair rocket scientist talking. I still think landing it on the hold down points, like reinforcing the hold down points to be able to have the booster basically sit on them, and then landing the booster like right next to it, and then landing the booster right next to it, and then having the crane be able to pick the booster up and move it back is the right move. The problem with doing that is, one, if it's windy and the booster lands, it'll tip over. Two, if the booster lands, right, and it's a little too far out of reach for the crane, like, you can't just extend the crane. You'd need to just pick up another crane anyway. Nothing is impossible. Well, I know, Black Suit, but I'm not saying it's impossible, guys. Like, don't get confused. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying how are you going to do it? I think there's a huge difference. And once again, this isn't me being skeptical. I'm trying to search for a way to get this done. How would you catch a frigging booster? It's a really valid strategy. Aim for an unobtainable goal until you figure out a viable solution. I mean, Mason, we did it in mission mode. Do you think when I first made Freedom 10 that I would think it would fly back with a circle wing and jet engines? No. I had to build a bigger booster, and I put myself into a position that I never would have been in any other circumstance, and now I have one of the most reliable reusable boosters we've ever made. It's a little weird, but it works. Imagine the booster slowing to a hover and being grabbed. Yeah, but hovering a rocket, O-Force, is very inefficient for what it's worth. And Super Heavy will be down on fuel to begin with. And also, you're losing stability if you hover it. But then again, SpaceX has done it with Grasshopper. Shouldn't you look more at precision landing than catching the rocket? Well, Miles, that's the problem. That's the problem that I'm getting at. All right. There's only, I mean, Falcon 9, right? Lands. It lands on the drone ship. Is it dead center on the X every single time? No, but it's close. It's within what? 10, 15 feet? Like 3 or 4 meters of error every time? The thing is, that 3 to 4 meters of error is the difference between the tower catching it and not. That's what I mean when I say I don't understand. How are you going to get Super Heavy to basically have less than, it has to be within a meter accuracy every time? Or else the landing pad will just be so ridiculously overcomplicated, it's like, why would you even bother? Is Falcon 9 more precise when it lands on land? It really comes down to the wind, Phil. Is it more precise when it lands on land? Yeah, I suppose. But see, Phil, that doesn't matter because the oil rigs, there's no doubt that SpaceX is going to catch whatever this catch mechanism is, they're going to try to build onto the oil rig, right? Like, save extra margin on fuel and plan for a higher hover and slow lower down to catch. Save extra margin on fuel. Are we talking about the same rocket, Xeon? Oh yeah, just save extra margin on fuel. You want to drive further? Just don't use as much gas. Like, what? Super Heavy will be landing on more engines with more gimbal control, though. Alright, so what? The rocket becomes notoriously unstable when it's in hover mode, Torlab, and a gimbal is not necessarily going to compensate for that. Try to do it in KSP. Try to get a rocket to just sit there. And then try to put a rocket down in KSP as close as you can to, like put a landing beacon out, launch a rocket up, move it over, and then try to land it directly on that beacon. And yeah, I know what people are going to say. Well, the SpaceX is going to have a computer doing it. Well, what I'm trying to tell you is that the computer that they have landing Falcon 9, for instance, can't do that with it has a margin of error of a couple meters. A couple meters is the difference between catching the rocket and not catching the rocket in this particular case. I don't once again, I know a solution is here somewhere, and I'm not saying it's impossible either. I want to know how. Like, I don't see the physics I don't see the physics behind catching the booster from landed. Like I'm not seeing it. I don't even see a even remotely viable pathway there. Massive size will make it more stable and accurate. Yeah, that's possible. I can do that and get it less than 1 meter off. Not always intact, but always less than 1 meter off. I do burn through a fair bit of fuel doing it, but I don't commit until within 1 meter. It's obvious we don't know enough about Elon's plan. Well, we won't. Yeah, if we don't think about it, sure, yeah, of course we won't. I'm gonna pop us into KSP. Let's keep talking while KSP is loading up. We have 2 missions to launch today. I gotta launch a Sigma capsule up to the space station, resupply capsule, and